right, folks. Sorry I'm not here. Please treat my sub well today. Sorry if that's out of focus a bit. Today is Monday the 10th, and today we are graphing from standard form, okay? So just as a very quick review, right, this is standard form, okay? We talked about that a lot last week, okay? And this is slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, okay? Now, let's see, on Thursday and Friday of last week, we talked about converting from standard form to slope-intercept form to graph because we have done a lot of practice on graphing this equation, right? Y equals mx plus b. Today, we're going to graph directly from this equation, right? So we're going to have a lot of examples here where we just take this equation and we go straight to the graph, okay? So there are a few words that I'm going to use today that you need to know, okay? We have talked about this one before, y-intercept. And for those of you who may have forgotten, y-intercept is just the line, sorry, not the line, the point where the line, and remember these are linear equations, so they form a line. So the point where the line crosses the y-axis, okay? Hopefully this isn't too laggy, okay? So y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis, okay? And then the second term that we're going to use today, is the x-intercept, okay? Now, I think this is the first time you've heard the term x-intercept, but hopefully you can kind of extrapolate or figure out the definition of x-intercept just based on the definition of y-intercept, right? So if y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, x-intercept is the point where the line crosses the x-axis. The point where the line crosses the x-axis. Right? And remember, guys, the y-axis is the vertical or up and down, okay? And the x-axis is the horizontal or side to side, okay? I guess I'll pause just a minute to make sure we're caught up there. Okay, so the idea here to graph directly from standard form. Yeah, let me shift that up a bit. Sorry about that. Okay, it is a bit involved, okay? Right, you have to do two things, okay? One, you have to find the y-intercept, right? And that gives you 1 point, okay? And then you have to find the x-intercept, and that gives you the other point. Because remember, right, you need that's two fingers, right? 2 points to graph a line, okay? So if we're finding the y-intercept first, you substitute 0 for your x value and solve for y. Okay, so that's how you find the y-intercept. And again, right, we're just writing the steps out, okay? We will actually show you, or we will actually go through this step by step, very much like we did last week when we were talking about converting from standard form to slope-intercept, okay? So student, boom, step 1, find your y-intercept. That gives you 1 point. And then step 2, I hope you can figure out what I'm gonna write here, okay? Rather than finding the y-intercept, we want to find the x-intercept. And finding this will give you the other point that you need to graph the line, okay? And rather than substituting 0 for your x value, you're going to substitute 0 for your y value. And instead of solving for y, you will solve for x. Okay, I'll let people catch up on that one. Okay. And I guess step 3 would be plot those 2 points, your x-intercept and your y-intercept, and then connect those 2 points with a line. Okay? So step 1, find the y-intercept. Step 2, find the x-intercept. Plot those 2 points that you found, and then connect them with a line. Okay? So step 1, step 2, step 3. And really, step 3 is just so easy that I hesitate to even put it as a step, but you have to do it to complete the problem. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I'm running out of room there. So I'm going to flip to second page here. And our first example, right, that we're going to graph, right, we're going to graph, what do we have here? Negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 6. Okay? All right, so is find your y-intercept. Okay? Find your y-intercept. Sorry. Sorry about the writing there. That just says find y-intercept. You can even find the spelling on the previous page if you need it. So the idea here is we're going to substitute 0 for our x value. So we're going to take this x in the equation, we're going to replace it with 0, okay? So that's going to look like negative 2. And then I just get rid of my x and I put 0 in its place. And remember, when you have those two next to each other, that means you're multiplying, okay? And then I add my 3y. I end up negative 6. Focus that up. Okay, all right. Negative 2 times 0 is 0. So boom, that just goes away. And it just leaves us with 3y equals negative 6. Okay? So I realized that these steps looked fairly complicated when I was actually writing out what to do. But hopefully now that you see the math, it looks super easy. Right? To find your y-intercept, basically all that happens is your x term goes away and it leaves you with your y term equal to the constant on the other side, right? That number. So then we're going to divide by 3. Cancels out right there. And we're left with y equals negative 2. Okay? So when your x is 0, just like that, when your x is 0, your y, and I guess I don't even need to write it, right? X is 0, your y is negative 2. Therefore, your point, is 0, negative 2. Yeah, boom, that is your y-intercept right there. Okay? So step 1, find your y-intercept. Step 2, find your x-intercept. Okay, oops, sorry, let me shift that up a bit. Step 2, maybe I'll wait just a minute for people to catch up. Find your x-intercept. So the idea with finding your x-intercept is rather than replacing your x with 0, you're going to replace your y with 0, right? So this is going to look like negative 2x plus 3. And again, I'm getting rid of that y value and replacing it with 0, okay? So let me write that in red because you can clearly see that that's what I'm changing out, okay? And I set it equal to negative 6, okay? So again, that 3 times 0, that's going to equal 0. So boom, poof, that just disappears. Your y term goes away, leaving you with this negative 2x and that negative 6 right there, okay? And then hopefully you understand that we're going to divide by that negative 2 on both sides, and it's going to leave us with x equals a positive 3. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 gives a positive 3. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Okay? So, boom, we have our x value when your y value is 0. Okay? So that right there, that point is your x-intercept. Okay? So now we have 2 points. We have 0, negative 2. That's your y-intercept. We have 3, 0. That's your x-intercept. And since we only need 2 points to graph a line, well, we just need to graph the line at this point. And this is step 3, okay? I'm going to just kind of put this off to the left, and I'm going to say my y-intercept here, just so I can bring it down and maybe zoom in. Right, my y-intercept is going to be that negative 2, so I'm going to write that right there. Okay, my x-intercept, which we just found, is going to be that 3, 0. And now I just plot these 2 points for step 3, right? This is the simplest part, right? So y-intercept, boom, 0, negative 2. That's where my line crosses the y-axis. The x-axis, right? So this is 0, negative 2 right there. Okay, and then this is 3, 0 right there. Okay, then I'm going to use my straight edge to connect those points to the line. And please remember, when you are graphing a line, it goes all the way across the graph. Okay, it is a linear equation. It forms a line. Okay, a line that goes all the way across the graph. And then, right, we're going to take our glue sticks and we're going to glue that into your notebook. Okay, if at any to do that. All right. Okay. Okay, so I guess just as a quick way to make sure everybody's got everything, if you need to pause on one of these pages, right? Let me see if I can get everything on here. All right, well, okay, there's the top of the first page. You need to pause it right now, pause it. There's the bottom of the first page. Pause if you need to. There's the top of the second page. Okay, let me shift that up a bit. Pause if you need to. And then there's the bottom of the second page. Pause if you need to. Okay, so that right there, folks, is one example. I'll quickly run through one more. And then, yeah, I'll give you some time to practice on that, I suppose. Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to have to move to part 2. Okay, so this is video part 1 is over.